good evening to those of you that's coming in by way of social media as we get ready to do the Thaddeus Matthews show. Here in Memphis, It's a Push is on for election day. I got to talk about some things and some folk on tonight. I can get back to really that national stuff on tomorrow night, but tonight the push is on in Shelby County. Now that's what we gotta talk about. I probably gonna have 4 or 5 politicians that stop by here on tonight. And good evening to each and every one of you. I'm a little sick. My trusted assistant, security person, and didn't do a damn job.
What else?
Nothing.
I went to that Democrats meeting, that rally that they had, then left and had about an hour to kill. And I stopped and get a damn orange sherbet milkshake.
That ain't good for you.
And I'm feeling it all in my stomach. I hope I don't have to take a shit break while I'm on TV. Oh,
We don't either.
cause see, I can't use nobody's bathroom but my own.
Man, gotta be in your own.
I gotta be in my own bathroom in my house.
Man, gotta be.
Where I can get buck naked, sit there and read and,
TMI.
you know, and just let it drop.
Take your time with it.
Then I wait, yeah, take your time. Then I weigh myself and see how much I lost. All
I
right.
play dominoes. I play dominoes.
My stomach is hurting. So,
That's sad.
huh?
That's sad.
It is sad. Yeah, yes, Mary, I have to get naked. I can take all my clothes off when I shit. Is that too much information?
I told you that TMI.
Okay. Ain't nobody really interested in
They
it.
listening.
They ain't never interested.
They
No.
listening. They interested.
See if I want to do it like this. Okay, do it like this. All right.
Nobody told you to be quiet, but me.
Dale,
Yeah.
give me that other stand over there. Give me that
I got it,
stand.
bro. I got it. Let that toe down. I got it.
Huh?
I told her hold that toe down. I got it.
All of me. Not
wait.
this, the mic stand.
The whole mic?
No, just take it,
This stand.
just give me the stand, take this one.
You gonna be coming on in a minute, bro.
Yeah,
Take that one.
take,
I'm gonna use it for your gas anyway.
yeah, but it's turned the wrong way.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Somebody say, am I lactose intolerant?
Sorry.
Whew. My son. I guess I won't tell TV world.
Don't tell TV because your folks on Facebook are still at it.
All right.
SBBT, the voice of the city.
The views and opinions expressed on this talk show.
Crack me on
are
up.
those of the talk show hosts, the producers, and/or persons appearing on the program,
1,000 neat
and do
bitch
not
you gone.
reflect the views and opinions of the SVP network.
Already.
This program may include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
All right.
If you wanna know what's bad, yes, if you wanna know, ask Daddy, yes, he will let you know, yes, what's bad, yes, it's the Thaddeus Matthews Show. He's not afraid to tell the truth. He is the one that will inform.
30 seconds.
About all those jokers that are doing wrong. You want to line and dig it out.
20 seconds.
Sometimes the avenues don't get it right.
They don't get it right.
Every daddy does his homework every night. What's the local news, world news, national news, he's gonna keep it tight.
Got 5, 4, 3, 2, you're on. And just when you thought it was safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Wednesday evening, the first day of August, right here. Thank you so very much for being here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show on tonight. Interesting program. I'll probably have 4 or 5 politicians drop by on tonight. I only have one in the house right now, but there are some more that's supposedly going to stop by. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day, and the push is on. Those of you in Memphis and Shelby County, go to the polls. If you have not already voted, please go to the polls on tomorrow. Make your vote known, not because nobody died, but because you live, and you live in a society where the politics makes up everything. Want to say good evening to Dr. Tisha Dura. She is the proud principal of the Craigmont High School. I was over there today, big school too. She is Charles in charge. And Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries is adopting this particular school, with this particular high school, Craigmont High School. And we're going to be involved with them and a part of what they have going on. We're going to be bringing the young ladies into our mentoring program and for whatever service is needed at Craigmont High School. That's what ministry is all about. Thank you so very, very much, Dr. Dura. Good-looking girl too. She's a principal over there. And I forget some of the girls' names and all her secretaries and things. But we're going to be a part of that school. We're going to be a part of the young people going in, dealing with the young people and things of that nature. That's Craigmont High School. I'll be telling you more tonight also about our men's program, men working it out. But it's political season. Tomorrow is voting day, and I've got 2 politicians already in here, and we're going to only keep them about 15 to 20 minutes apiece because they have to prepare for tomorrow. Politics is a dirty business. And I was just looking at something that was going out. And politicians will also get groups that they support to do some of their dirty work. When I do my dirt, I just do it, okay? But I'm looking at Planned Parenthood. You know, the baby killers. Planned Parenthood has put out a campaign brochure against Justin Ford. So that means that they got the okay from the candidate. Romesh, Strawberry, Ackerberry, whatever her damn name is. But they sent this out and it dealt with the Justin Ford domestic violence situation, which is behind him. He talked about it when he was on this show. It is no longer an issue. In fact, they back girlfriend, boyfriend, there was no attack, but he's a politician. But here's Romesh Akberry. She wants to throw salt. She wants to throw rocks and hide the hand. They got his picture all on here. It says Memphis deserves better than Justin Ford. Election day is Thursday, August the 2nd, which means that anytime this type of material goes out, the people putting it out have already spoken with the candidate. Now here is Planned Parenthood. You killing babies. Yeah, you baby killers, you're murderers. And you're supporting Romesh Akberry And she's such a coward that she is allowing this particular organization to throw dirt. What the hell did you do? See, I want to know, what did you do as a state representative? Now she wants a promotion. She wants to be a state senator. Do not vote for her ass, okay? Romesh Edgar, how you gonna play this game? You're gonna have baby killers, Planned Parenthood. You're gonna have them putting out and sending out campaign literature to discredit Justin for it. Your fat ass must be scared now. She is fat. Don't be looking at me there. She is fat. Romesh Ackerberry is fat. But this is, you playing the game the hard way, baby. You got the baby killers, Planned Parenthood, which was the first anti-black movement in the country by Margaret Sanger when it was called the Nigger Project. So I'm telling all of you that's in State Senate District 29, do not vote for her ass. Plain and simple. Do not vote for her. She's playing the game. Okay, then let's play the game. Here you are. Can I play the game, Dale? Romesh, your daddy is a white African. Yeah. You know, one of the Africans in Africa that kept black folk in apartheid for years, that's your daddy, Mr. Ackberry. So you don't give a damn, because see, you don't play, if y'all gonna play politics and y'all gonna play dirty, I created this game, I can play it. I know how to play it. Your daddy is one of them folk that kept the black folk oppressed. We can't vote for you. We can't vote for you when you go get the baby killers to fight your battle. Run on your own merit. Run on the things that you have done as a politician. But you can't run on what you've done because you ain't did a damn thing. Tomorrow, District 29, those of you in that South Memphis area, vote Justin Ford, District 29. All right, I got two politicians in the House. I got Antonio Parkinson, District 98. He represents the Raleigh area. My church, in fact, is in his area. So I'm going to be trying to find out what we can get done, especially with this men's ministry, what the state can do. And we're not taking any state money. But anything they want to give us, we'll do it. I ain't looking for no funding, I ain't looking for no grants. Maybe you can tell me some people that I need to talk to as we're trying to create this independent living for men, 8 men at a time, over the age of 40 years old, as we have a training program for those men. And we'll be talking more about that in between politicians on tonight. But Romesh Eckerberry, Strawberry, whatever her name is, not her, okay? Justin Ford, District 29. All right, let's get ready to take a commercial break. Then I'm going to bring on State Representative Antonio Parkinson. Also in the House is the next sheriff of Shelby County. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the polls on tomorrow, Floyd Bonner for the sheriff, the first black elected sheriff, can take place tomorrow. There is no other name that you even need to think about. Floyd Bonner is the man on tomorrow. When it gets to the sheriff, ain't gonna be but 2 names on there, and his name gonna be the top name. Floyd Bonner for sheriff of Shelby County. He's already doing the job. We don't need to change up. We got a man that has worked in the sheriff's department from the ground floor up all the way to the penthouse. So now it's time for you tomorrow, when you go to the polls, to make sure that Floyd Bonner becomes the next sheriff of Shelby County. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, State Representative Antonio Parkinson, right here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show.
Come on, brother Floyd, let me get a picture in real quick. So I can say I knew him when. I knew him before. I'll be looking like this. All right, appreciate you. Yes, sir. And yeah, man, we tear this in.
Am I going to move
Put
over?
your folks out there, so they wouldn't get, beat up by the heat, everybody. This my walk.
Antonio,
Yes, sir, you ready?
come on, sir.
Go ahead. Okay, on this side. Tag, just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
That's a tag. Tag.
How about right here?
Good, excellent. Brought my little tripod. Do I go and check his mic?
Check this.
Check. ANTONIOPARKINSON. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Do you have it?
9, 10.
Because we had a problem with the
10, 9, 8,
Huh?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We good?
How many we played? Give me, take me down to him and then bring me back. Do, Shalandra Ford, Kite, and then do his, and then bring me back.
Say it again, Ford Kite.
Yeah, do Ford, Kite, Parkinson.
And then bring it back.
Yeah, bring me back.
For you to browse through too. Winner of the Commercial Appeals Memphis Most Best Mattress Store in 2015, 2016, and 2017. Rich and me, Thaddeus Matthews, when you go in and get an additional 10% off anything in the store, including
Man, what do you do for the sheriff's department?
and pillows.
Lieutenant, Attorney Affairs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you the one that get all the police when they get in trouble.
Lost a lot of friends.
Well, I bet you have.
You might gonna move around a little bit, but. No, we're good. You're good. Can you hear me though? Okay. You got it?
Got him down now because we're commercial.
Okay, great.
Sleeping Seasons by Michael Zelmer is the place to go. Shalandra Ford wants to become your next Shelby County Register of
Say what's up to my people there.
with 20
What's up to his people?
experience. She's more than capable of
What you on?
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
transactions, deeds, mortgages, and she will make sure that accurate records
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
your property is kept in such a manner that you can just walk
Y'all don't forget the blackout, election day, blackout, wear black.
in a speedy and professional
If you ain't got black, just wear whatever you got to go vote.
Show right about that. We'll vote. But if you got black, put it
how
on.
the register's office should operate
Represent.
and will be accessible to all of the
What's
citizens
up?
of Shelby County. Shalandra Ford.
I'm perfecting my virtual marshmallow roasting technique.
What's happening?
And enlighten the citizens
My
of
people.
Shelby County when it comes to their records. If you are a property owner in Shelby County, you will sleep better knowing that your records are in the hands of Shalandra Ford. On August 2nd, vote for the name that you can trust. Ford. Shalandra Ford. Early voting starts July 13th through the 28th. Paid for by the committee to elect Shalandra Ford. Deborah Williams, treasurer. When you're going to circuit court for your divorce, personal injury claims, settlements, appeals from juvenile court, and numerous other legal matters, you want a judge.
I should have brought my tripod, man. That's what.
That's fair, that's impartial, and that's what you'll get. Who personally
You work out, man? Don't need that other leg over
as
there.
a Shelby County magistrate. Is a graduate of Hamilton High School.
You been here enough doing that, by now y'all figure out what cheers you need.
Well, you fussed at me last time, you want me to poke holes in it.
How many cases in family law
showed up and want to talk about it.
Personal injury, real estate, and business transactions. Yolanda Tech is more than prepared to serve the citizens of Shelby County as
What's up, man?
circuit court judge in Division 9.
What's up, Jay
On
Rich?
August 2nd, vote Yolanda Tech, circuit court judge, Division 9. Early voting has already started and ends July 28th. You get it right when you vote Kite. Paid for by the committee to elect Yolanda Kite judge, Dana Porter treasurer.
Hi, I'm Antonio Parkinson, and I'm so thankful and honored to be your state representative. I've been a vocal advocate for strong public schools in our communities, and this failed experience from our children's education. I took the lead on holding the state accountable for the failed Key and Ready test. I am a fighter for working class. I understand what it feels like to work hard and barely get by. That is why I passed the first workplace test.
40 seconds.
Workplace bullying law in the country. Being smart on crime is not locking everyone away. It is increasing sentences for violent criminals and finding alternatives for others. I continue.
What about it, Sheriff? That it?
Such as those in barber, natural hair, and cosmetology industry. Please
20 seconds.
vote with urgency to ensure that our communities receive the strong, courageous voice that we need to nation. Again,
10 seconds. You got 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. So with me right now is State Representative Antonio Touche Parkinson. He's running for re-election. How many years you been in the State House now?
Man, if re-elected, it'll be 8 years in January.
8 years. Reading his brochure, Fierce Fighter for Public Schools, Teachers, Parents, and Students, Fierce Fighter for Women's Issues such as equal pay, child support, choice and safety, and Fierce Fighter for criminal justice reform and safety for our neighborhoods. What's your agenda? What is the agenda of Antonio Parkinson when it comes to District 98?
Education, employment, health, crime, make sure that we have safe communities. That's my agenda.
So what new laws, as you go back and return to session, if you're reelected, what new laws are you looking to try to create that's going to benefit the citizens of District 98, in fact, the state of Tennessee?
You know, criminal justice reform is very important, man, because a lot of times our people are being incarcerated for crimes that are minuscule in nature, and because of that, you know, they're clogging up the beds where we have to reduce the sentences for those criminals that are violent in nature. You know, my goal, I always say, there's 2 types of crimes. There are crimes that make you mad and crimes that make you scared. We want to make sure the ones that make you scared are incarcerated. And if we need to find alternatives for those crimes that irritate us a little bit. I'm gonna give you an example. In the state of Tennessee, if an individual is caught with anything over a half ounce of weed in their pocket or on their person, you know, that spread, that little bit over a half ounce goes all the way up to 10 pounds. You face the same penalty, the same sentence as someone that killed someone in the state of Tennessee. So I want you to think about that. You can have a handful of weed in your car and a roach in your car above that, and you face the same penalty as somebody that killed someone in Tennessee. And you know, and especially when you think about, you know, the movement where things are going in regards to marijuana across the country. 26 states have either decriminalized or done something or legalized marijuana in some form or fashion. But in Tennessee, we have some of the harshest penalties. And I want you to think about, so that person, that college kid or that individual, that high school kid that has that small amount on them, you know, they're clogging up a bed where these killers could have been, you know, spending or you know, doing a sentence, performing out a sentence that could have actually kept them away for a long time. So that's some of the stuff we're dealing with.
So how, as a state representative, Antonio, are you planning personally to fight that and combat that?
Well, you know, by drafting and passing legislation, we fought for it last year, for the last couple of years. One of the things we fought for also was legislation that would marry individuals that illegally supply weapons to these children and marry them to the crime that the child commits with that weapon. You know, couldn't get that passed because, you know, we're in an NRA state. And one of the things that we did pass, I will say this, and we passed a law saying that, you know, our city council and our county commission, they can come up with a plan or a strategy to give people, individuals, community service in lieu of losing their driver's licenses. So we're working on that, reforming the child support. The child support strategy in Tennessee is ridiculous. You know, it's not good for women, it's not good for men either. So we've been working on that. You know, I'm working on also to make it so that, you know, you do not lose your driver's license unless it's driving related.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's important because that's the gateway into the justice system, and that justice system is a web. And you know, once you're in it, it's hard to get out of it. You know, the more you struggle, the more caught up you get in the justice system. So we're trying to kill those avenues that have been put in place to entrap some of our members of our communities. And a lot of times, those policies, those laws are directed at you know, people in poverty. And so we're trying to circumvent that and find ways and find avenues to give people an opportunity to actually have a life, you know. And I'm even looking at the fact, you know, when individuals are incarcerated and let's say they do lose their citizenship because of a felony or whatever, you know, I believe in my heart that once you have served your time, once you have paid your debt to society, you should be able to get all of that back, you know. And
So are you saying a automatic receipt? Yeah, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, here's the thing. See, I sit on the criminal committee and I hear all of this and I see all of this, all of the things and all of the policies that are directed at people. And most of the time, it's all directed at people that are of meager means. And
So your idea is, and I think, believe me, I believe that's a great idea and concept, is that after you have done your time, that automatically your rights are restored without you having to go through a restoration process coming out of a jail sentence or coming out of probation. You still got to spend money to get your rights back, your voting rights and right to carry. Now, I understand that if you committed a violent crime with a weapon, maybe you shouldn't.
Well, let me respectfully rebut that. Because
Okay.
what if it was 30 years ago? You see
Okay.
what I'm saying? You know,
Okay.
and man, I'm gonna tell you something. I had an individual who was pouring concrete in you know, in one of the driveways of one of the houses, and he was 79 years old.
Okay.
He had made a mistake at 19. He still had that felony on his jacket. He still had that scarlet letter on his jacket, and that is utterly ridiculous. He hadn't been in any trouble or anything like that. But see, you can't even remove those crimes that are aggravated in nature right now, period. But 60 years? I mean, how long? See, here's the thing. Here's what you have to understand about the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee wants people that make mistakes to pay for the rest of their lives. And that's ridiculous. And here's the other thing. I want you to think about this. If you grew up in communities like we grew up, we were all, as a matter of fact, the only difference between us and the individuals that do have felonies is the fact that they probably got caught and we didn't.
Okay.
That's the only
That's
difference.
it.
That's the only difference.
That's it.
And so, you know, some of us were able to escape or get by. Some of us were saved by sheer mentors that just happened to come on the scene at the right time.
So when we talk about this, Touche, what is it that you as a state representative, what are you proposing to do to change those particular laws or make laws that will affect what we're talking about?
No, I propose those kind of laws, and I support the laws that are being proposed by my colleagues like that. You know, but here's the interesting thing. See, you know, you have some of us that understand this from a humanitarian standpoint, right? But you have those that also understand it from a fiscal standpoint, which is because of the money. See, the problem is, our budget will not sustain us incarcerating everybody every time they make a mistake. And now they are realizing that. But you gotta understand the Republican agenda back then was for mass incarceration, going all the way back into the crack days, and a lot of them fathers, a lot of those people are gone because of that.
But let's also look at the aspect that here in the state of Tennessee, you brought in privatized, jail companies.
Absolutely.
CAA.
It's called Core Civic now, but it started here.
Okay,
It
well,
started here.
here's
It was founded
what
here.
you have. The state of Tennessee has a contract with these
Absolutely.
companies that you have to keep, what is the percentage?
Yeah, I'm the
At
one that
least
brought that to
seven-
light.
At least.
No, sir, 90%.
You gotta keep, like,
Keep the beds occupied
At
at
90%.
90%, or the state is fined. What you think about that? How much power are you giving these people?
wait a minute, see, when you say that the state of Tennessee has given power to privatize, mental institutions that state that 90% of all of the prison beds in Tennessee, and I think it also doesn't affect, the county jail as well. It doesn't affect the county jail, just the state.
So let me explain so everybody's clear on it. So your state prisons, some of them are ran by private corporations.
Right.
Right? Now, the state of Tennessee has a contract with those private corporations. Now, President Obama pushed to end the contracts at the federal level, but the state still has them. And so it's actually a signed contract that says, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, we will keep the prisons at 90% capacity at a minimum, or we will pay you for the beds that we're not filling. And I want you to think about that. That is diabolically evil to me. You know, the fact that the state even has that contract. You see what I'm saying? And it's diabolically evil. And then the fact that the state is being fined if they don't keep them beds full. Last thing on that, well, for me, check this out. How can you hear state elected officials or the governor's office or the administration saying, we want to reduce crime and we want to reduce recidivism, right? Recidivism, for those that don't know, is going in and out of prison, right? We want to reduce that. But you can't say we want to reduce that and and at the same time, you got to sign a contract that says we want to keep the prisons at 90% capacity.
What it says is that there is no plan for rehabilitation.
No.
It says that what we really want is crime to continue.
Absolutely.
In the state of Tennessee, because if crime does not continue, we don't get paid.
We get fined, actually, we pay money.
So, as you return, hopefully do you have anybody running against you?
Officially or unofficially. Of course, yeah, there's somebody running against me. Yeah. So, man, don't pull me, man. Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
But what is your goal for the next 2 years?
Okay, yeah, let me touch on this on the prison thing real quick.
Okay.
Before we go into that real quick. I ran some legislation. I want you to think about this too. I ran some legislation that said anybody in the pipeline to send somebody to prison, they cannot own stock in private prisons.
Okay.
Because it's a conflict. Don't you think it's a
The
conflict?
conflict of interest,
It's
right?
a conflict, right? Man, when I say that prison lobby rose up, man, I thought I had the votes in that committee. Man, when that prison lobby got to all them legislators on that committee, man.
And paid them all.
Well, yeah, when that prison lobby got to all those legislators.
And paid
on
them
that
all.
committee, well, they may have helped them with their campaigns prior to
Okay,
that.
that's
So,
pay off.
Right. And so when they got to that, man, I lost every one of them votes, even the Democratic. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're up against, man. And people don't understand, you know, when we're in this business of politics or you know, you got special interests out there that spend a lot of money to protect their money. You know, for instance, last time I ran, you know, it was $150,000 spent against me last time I ran to get me out of the seat because I was protecting our public schools. And those folks that want to take over the public schools and you know, get that $10,500 per head, per black head, per brown head, you know, and they wanted that money because they wanted the schools. And I want y'all to think about this for all my mathematicians out there. If you take over a school, right, and you take it over with one of these out-of-state charter schools, right, and it's 1,000 kids in that school, so you multiply that 1,000 times 10,000, because that's how much they get per child. It's really 10.5, but let's do 10,000. That's $1 million for one school. And I looked at the budget of one of those entities. Man, that budget was $696 million. $696 million. You hear me? You hear me? 690. So they were selling our kids. They made our kids, I called it the new slave trade, and every time I said that, man, people, the folks that was behind it or supporting it would cringe. Oh, no, it's not the slave trade. Yes, it is. Because you're making a commodity out of the black and brown children. And if the model was such a great idea, then how come you ain't pushing it out there in Collierville or pushing it out there in Germantown?
Okay,
Because the model is, because they wouldn't have it.
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they put it under this auspices of we're giving them choice. No, the only people that can make a choice is people that got the resources to make a choice. If I don't have the resources to drive down the street because I don't like this school, drive down the street, drive my daughter to the next school, then if I don't have the resources, that's not a choice. If you take over the school and say it's choice, that's force.
You know, I was at Craigmont, which is also.
And man, we mess with Dr. Dura too. That's
Okay.
that's our people.
I was in there today, and I'm bringing the church in. We are adopting Craigmont. When I sat there, and she told me that 56% of the children in Craigmont High School are foster children, are living with their grandparents.
Homeless.
Okay.
Real talk. Yeah.
But one of the things that I did appreciate that she was saying is that she's bringing back, or they brought back to that particular school, we used to call it auto mechanics. They got,
Yes.
what do they call it now? There, what was she called it, something? It was some, but it's the same thing, auto garage, but it's auto mechanics. They're bringing back cosmetology. And one of the things that was great about it was that Craigmont is a choice school, which means that even if you live somewhere else out of the district, you can still go to that particular school. So I'm urging parents to get involved with Craigmont. Everybody can't be the rocket scientist,
Right.
okay? I don't need my cars worked on. Some of these girls need to have fixed other than some weave. So
Protect the edges, baby. Protect the edges. Protect the edges. We want to protect the edges.
grow some edges,
Shout
create
out to
some
all my
edges.
cosmetology people and barber people. We fought for them this year.
You did,
Yes,
you did, you
yes.
did. So what I'm saying is, like with Craigmont, we've got to have schools that are going to generate, people that's not gonna go to college. Everybody ain't going to college.
And we're
Okay.
not only are we a blue collar county, Shelby County in Memphis, but we're a blue collar state.
Okay.
We are a blue collar state, and I think we should embrace that and really push that foundation.
So I'm telling you parents, and this is a little off key from him, but those of you who have children and you have boys or you might even have girls who are interested in auto mechanics, you gotta get into these trades. And I remember, in this, hell, I've been out of school 40 years, but 40 some years, oh, okay. Okay. We had all of these trades in high school. And I think that one of the things that state legislators are going to have to do when it comes to the education of our children, going to have to create laws and policies that's going to affect the education and not the under-education of our children, especially in the inner city. All right, Antonio Parkinson, anything else you want? I'm gonna give you 1 minute, Antonio, to talk to this audience and tell them why they should re-elect you on tomorrow.
Well, you should re-elect me because you know my work and you know my heart, you know my passion. But more importantly, than that, you should vote. Please make sure that you vote. Get out and vote because this election is so important. A lot of people don't realize when the state elections, and this is a state election, state primaries, you're going to be voting for your gubernatorial candidate, and you're going to be voting for your state representatives and state senators. We have the power. We control everything. I try to explain that to people. We control your education. We control what your licensing. If you want to be a stylist, you want to be a barber, you want to be a mortician, we control that. We say what it takes to do that. We control everything. So make sure that you get out there and vote, and make sure you vote in these state elections. Make sure you get your blackout shirt too. Antonio Parkinson.
Your what?
The blackout shirt. We call it because we're blacking out tomorrow at the election. So all our people are
Blackout.
The blackout. We're supporting the black vote. So get out there and vote.
Well, and Antonio is one of those politicians that you could call and you can get some results. I remember after my son was killed last year, I called him and I was concerned about state laws concerning being able to buy a used car and not have insurance. And what did you do, Antonio?
We passed the law.
Okay.
And let me explain this real quick.
And explain that law to them, because a lot of this, folks, I'm scared to drive some parts of the city.
Because what happened in your case, a person bought a car from you told to no place, you know, and they weren't required to have insurance. Be responsible for the individual's insurance on, you know, when they drove
Okay.
off the lot.
Okay.
Now, the individual is responsible for having insurance, but who was policing it, right?
Right.
So what we did was we put the responsibility on that lot now to make sure that these individuals have insurance before they drive off.
So what is the law now, and when did it take in effect?
Oh, no, it's already law.
Okay.
That's the law.
It's the law now,
Yes.
and the law states what? As far as used cars are concerned.
Now the law states where any place that you buy a car that's off of a lot, you gotta have insurance before you drive off that lot.
Can that lot be penalized?
Oh, yeah, if they break the law, absolutely, they can lose their license.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So please make sure you get out there and vote, and hit my girl Ebony Wright for them shirts, if you need them.
Do it now?
Ebony Wright, she did my shirts.
Oh, what the hell you doing advertising?
No, that's my shirt.
Okay, but you advertising. You ain't printing me no damn shirt. What the hell you on my
What
shirt
size you wear?
advertising?
Hold up, what size you wear?
I don't want no Antonio Parkinson.
Of course you do.
No, I don't.
What kind of shirt you want then?
I want one that said a custom pastor on.
I got you.
Hell, you gonna
Hey,
put on my
Ebony,
show.
wait, watch this. Ebony, you got that? The cussing pastor.
Okay, that's what I want.
You got it.
Okay.
Hey, you asked me to pass that law, right?
Right.
Did I pass it?
Hey, come here. I don't even know everything.
All right. She does my shirt. But did I pass it?
Yeah, you did.
Give me something.
All right.
All right.
All right, State Representative Antonio Parkinson.
We're gonna get that shirt though.
Okay.
You will have that shirt. In fact, we'll try to have it to you tomorrow. Make sure you wear it.
All right,
You wear it on the show?
I'll wear it on the show.
Evan, you got it? Send the thumbs up. Send the
Big
thumbs up.
fellas, the cussing pastor.
Hey, I'm gonna design it for you. We got you.
Okay.
All right.
You gonna have it for me?
All right, cuz I'm gonna try to have it tomorrow. It's election day tomorrow.
I'll wait for
Right.
Friday.
But you will get that shirt.
All right.
Yeah, the custom pastor. Brand that thing. That's what I'm talking about. Branding.
Look, I've got that registered now.
I know that's right. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I'm a marketing person. That's what I do.
And Fanny Bag,
Right.
it's a registered trademark now.
That's what's up.
If you use my name, I gotta get paid.
Love it, love it, love it.
Praise Jesus. All right,
Let the church say
go and vote tomorrow for my good friend, State Representative Antonio Parkinson, District 98. You represent Raleigh.
Raleigh, North Memphis, Douglas, Hyde Park, a little bit of Midtown down McLean before you get to Snowden School, and we got a sliver of Bartlett up to 6 more View.
Okay.
All right, Nutbush. I also don't want to leave my folks out.
All right, Antonio Parkinson on tomorrow. We're gonna take a commercial break, and when I come back, the next sheriff of Shelby County. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the opportunity on tomorrow to make history in this county. And his name is Floyd Bonner. Already doing the job. Why the hell we gonna put somebody else there? I don't even think the other man still work for, does the other man still work for the sheriff's department? Huh?
No.
No. He don't even work for, he don't work for the sheriff's department?
Mm-mm.
How he
For
know?
him, emergency,
Huh?
something. Yeah, but we don't want to.
Well, we gonna call his name, but,
Right.
damn, but he ain't at the sheriff's department?
No.
So we already got a man at the sheriff's department, so why change? He's already doing the job, and I think that tomorrow he's gonna be victorious, and that on September 1, he will officially become the first black elected sheriff of Shelby County.
Oh, that's big.
When we come back from this commercial break, Floyd Bonner.
Appreciate
We'll be
it.
right back. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll be looking for my damn shirt too.
Get you a damn shirt.
Advertise for him now.
I'm not, no. Ebony works for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm advertising me.
Oh, okay. Well, get up and let the sheriff come on.
All right. All right, man. We'll see you, bro.
What you got?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Put
Y'all
Tiger
enjoy
in
the
there,
show.
and then bring it back from right there.
Hold it down.
Well, that'll be fine. Okay.
No, man. People still do Periscope?
Be careful, dog.
What's up, black and yellow? Yeah, black and yellow, baby, black and yellow. This is how we roll.
How you feeling about the thing, Flo?
It's pretty good. Yeah, we checked all the boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done everything. I can't think of one thing. Why you laugh? I can't think of one thing we haven't done or that we could have done. You know, when you sleep good at night, when you wake up.
Legislation, but she holds community meetings to keep the citizens informed. She held a series of meetings on matter transportation, expungement clinics.
You know, they'll think she's a celebrity now.
Meetings on drugs and crime and jobs.
I saw you told,
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
District 86.
All right, Chair.
Look, she got, all right.
Of the state of Tennessee.
Your bail, man, she's a face expert.
Let me tell you something. One of her maiden names was Lane.
Barbara Cooper has sponsored
Did you check out? You should check with that.
818 vote August 2nd to re-elect
Watts, California.
for State Representative District 86. Early voting starts July 13th. Paid for by friends of Barbara Cooper.
How did your thing work out? You know, what time you telling me, you looking at doing something with somebody from California?
It's slow, and see, at my age, man, I ain't giving up on my rights. You ain't gonna make more money off me than I'm making off of me. So you just wait for the right deal to come. I've been doing this 36 years. I ain't know I wanna do it, but I'm not gonna go for nickels and dimes, and then you control all the content too.
Gotcha. In other words, you basically were selling everything.
Yeah.
To be on there, but you would have been nationally syndicated.
If the money ain't right,
Right.
if you giving me $1 million a year, hell, I can see you telling me.
Right.
If you talking about $300,000-400,000, hell, I do that now.
Right.
So that ain't gonna excite
In his
me.
37 years in the sheriff's office, Floyd Bonner has made a difference
Yeah.
as an undercover officer, head of narcotics, and today as
10
chief.
seconds.
That's why he's been endorsed by Sheriff Bill Oldham and nearly every public safety organization. Because Floyd Bonner is ready to be our next sheriff and committed to keeping the people of Shelby County safe. Floyd
Got
Bonner,
5, 4,
What time is the polls open tomorrow?
You're back.
All right, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, get up and make your way to the polls. And remember, your employer cannot keep you from voting, okay? Federal law. If your lunch ain't what, I don't know how y'all eat them lunches in 15 minutes and 30 minutes, but if you are at the polls, your employer cannot penalize you for going to vote. That is federal law. Now, some of y'all gonna say, I went to vote.
3 hours to vote.
Huh?
They get 3 hours to vote.
You get 3 hours to vote, okay? The polls close, I believe, 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Open up the
7.
close 7.
Open at 7, close at 7 as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I got sitting here with me, and I'm honored, the next sheriff of Shelby County. I don't usually get, the only time I usually dealt with the sheriff's department is when they was coming to get me. But we're sitting here with history. You can make, especially in the African American community, you can make history tomorrow by getting up and voting. And I keep telling you, like I stated last night, it ain't because of who died, it's because you're living right now. Get up if you want to change your society. This man will become the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the county. His ranking is higher than that of the director of police. Let's do this on tomorrow. Floyd, you know, you've been here 2-3 times, and I don't know anything new that we can say. You came up from the bottom, you worked in the jail, okay?
That's right.
And I think the sheriff's department now has control of the jail, right? It hasn't always been that way, has it?
No. We've always had the jail.
You always had the jail, okay.
You know, even when I first came on 37 years ago.
Okay.
We always had the jail out. As a matter of fact, that's where I started off working at.
Okay,
is in the jail.
okay. Okay, so you've worked in the jail. What
Yes.
other divisions of the sheriff's department have you worked in?
That is, I've worked in the jail, I've worked in internal affairs, patrol, narcotics, I've worked in the court division, and now, I'm over everything, over all the jail as well as law enforcement.
So how long have you been the number 2 man?
Sheriff Oldham appointed me in 2015.
Okay.
I started off interim for about 3 months, and then he decided to give me the job permanently.
Okay. So basically, you handle right now everything from A to Z
That's correct.
of the sheriff's department.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, we do have a sheriff.
Sure.
Sometimes people think that I have the last say,
Okay.
but I'm next to the last say.
And the sheriff is endorsing and supporting that.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
So what do you tell the citizens of Shelby County, both black, white, and indifferent, that the agenda of Floyd Bonner is versus any other sheriff that we've ever had?
Well, I think we've talked about this before on the show. I've been there 36 years. I've worked for probably 5 or 6 different sheriffs.
Okay.
And everybody has their own little take or their own little niche, if you will.
Mhm.
The thing. So I think of accumulating all that knowledge and seeing the different sheriffs, seeing what worked and what didn't work, and how it was perceived throughout the department, I think gives me a unique perspective on that. I have my own ideas as to what we're thinking of moving forward here in 2018 and in the future. Something that we've been talking about all the campaign trail about community engagement, community involvement. Went to a great program this morning where out of Tresman School that saw some exciting things getting ready to happen for the kids in the Fraser community, and we want to be a part of that. We are a part of that. The sheriff's office, we do have our brand there. We want to continue to get our brand out there because the citizens of Memphis need to know that we at the sheriff's office, we are a part of this community, a viable part of this community, and we want to continue to be a part of this community.
The biggest question has to always be when we deal with local law enforcement is what can the sheriff's department do in the reduction of crime? And I know that you have a great working relationship with Police Director Mike Rollins over the City of Memphis Police Department, but the City of Memphis is in the county of Shelby. What is your proposal in working with Mike Rollins in the reduction of crimes? Because that's always the biggest question when we deal with law enforcement.
Well, continue to foster those relationships. That is, we do a thing that's called data smart policing. We work with the Memphis Crime Commission also on that. Where we do data smart policing, where we're out at the substation, we're looking at crime that occurs not only in incorporated Shelby County, but also what kind of butts up to our district. For instance, our District 2 is right next to the Ridgeway precinct. Our District 4 is next to Appleton Farms. So we look at what goes on in Appleton Farms, Ridgeway, because criminals don't know borders. They don't know what the city or the county is. They can care less, So we look at the crime that goes on there, and any time that we can help, our fugitive division, the colonel out at Mount Moriah, if he's having an issue out there, he will call us and ask us, hey, can fugitive pull warrant specifically in the Mount Moriah precinct to help them try to get this crime down and take some violent felons off the street. So we're always a part of that. We're always willing to help out where we can. Our Metro Gang unit does a tremendous job working inside the city. Our narcotics unit, something that I was a part of for 13 years, and they do probably 95% of their work in the county. And so we do a lot inside the city, but Memphis citizens just don't hear about it, and we're going to change that. We want them to know that we're out there, that they're taxpayers also. Their tax dollars are going, some of their tax dollars go to us, and we want them to know that we're out there you know, we're going out sheriff.
So will there become a different marketing strategy as to the profile of the sheriff's department? I know, and we've talked about, you only have in the entirety of the sheriff's department, what, 600 employees?
Well, no, we have 2,000 employees, but we have about 641
On the street.
sworn officers.
Okay, sworn officers
Mhm.
on the street. I think that one of the things that concern the citizens is the appearance that the sheriff's department is not always around. So will there be a different marketing strategy so that the citizens will realize that yes, the sheriff's department is there? And that was, even at one time, people had the idea that the sheriff's department only works in the county, and didn't work in the city.
Right, that's great, and you're right, it's just a different marketing strategy. You know, we've got to get our brand out there, we've got to let the citizen know, we've got to do a better job with social media, Facebook, reaching out and touching the community and letting them know exactly what their sheriff's office is about, what we're doing, what we're trying to do, and we're constantly looking for partnerships. We want to develop partnerships with anyone that's doing great things inside the city of Memphis. If it's something that the sheriff's office can be a part of, we will be a part of it, and we'll lend our resources to anyone that are doing great things, especially with our youth, especially with the kids. I can't talk about that as so much.
I mean, what's your idea, what's your concept of working with our young people?
Well, a lot of times our kids, you know, no kid is born bad. You know, they're born into bad situations. And a lot of times I tell the story about a kid that's in jail now that I talked to, a good-looking young man, 6'7", great basketball player once upon a time, and no one, he told me he cheated, no one ever told me no, because my family thought that I was going to be the way out. I was going to be the NBA player that was going to take everybody out of the project. So whatever I wanted to do, whenever I wanted to do it, nobody ever told me no. The first time he ever got told no is when he got incarcerated. And that's a shame. You know, you can't raise a child. You can't raise a child without telling him no sometime. And so when that young man told me that, it literally broke my heart. But there's so many young men out there that's like that. And when you don't get that male role model, that male figure in that child's life, that, you know, some of our kids will slip through the cracks, if you will. So we've got to, we're going to partnership. We're going to try to do some things inside the city with our Explorer program to try to bring kids that may not be able to get out as far east as we have that program. We're going to try to bring that program inside the city and make it a little bit easier for parents to get their children there to participate. We're going to teach them mentoring skills. We're going to talk about life skills. If they're interested in going into the law enforcement career, we want to mentor them through those impressionable years, because you start at 14. And so we want to mentor you. And then even if you don't want to do law enforcement, you might want to be a correctional officer. And so we want to talk about those kind of things. You know, what do you have to do? How do you get prepared? You got to stay out of trouble. The things that just life issues.
In 2 minutes, Sheriff, tell the citizens of Shelby County why tomorrow, when they go to the polls at 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, why they should vote for you.
Well, I'm asking the citizens of Memphis and Shelby County to vote Floyd Bonner for sheriff. 37 years experience. I've been with you in 37 years. I've given you, and I would like to give you more. There's no one in this race that's more qualified than I am, with more experience than I have. I run the day-to-day operations as we speak each and every day at the sheriff's office. That is, I often tell people, I said, you got a complaint about the sheriff's office, I'm definitely the guy to see. But if you think we're doing a good job, I'm still the guy to see. So I think we're doing a great job. We have over 2,000 employees and $178 million budget. And just like to encourage the citizens to please go out and vote. And look, if you live in Memphis, if you live inside the city limits of Memphis, you can vote for sheriff.
Right. If you live in the city of Memphis, you are in Shelby County. And I say that because there have been a lot of people that did not know and did not realize I can't vote because I live in Memphis. Memphis, y'all, is in Shelby County, okay? All right, my guest has been the one and only, the next sheriff, the next elected sheriff, the man that's already doing the job. Make it your business tomorrow. Get up and go and vote tomorrow morning, starting at 7 a.m. Remember, your job must give you, on the federal law, 3 hours to vote. Okay, so don't worry about how long the lines are. You go and vote. The polls will close at 7 o'clock tomorrow. I'm probably coming by your, I got your little thing there on Facebook about where your festivities will take place on tomorrow night, starting at what time?
Well, probably when the polls close at 7, and people start arriving at 7:30.
Okay. We are looking for a victory in the sheriff's department on tomorrow night. Floyd Bonner, the next sheriff of Memphis and Shelby County, be out tomorrow in large numbers. I know you say, well, my vote don't count. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
But it will not count if you don't go to vote. Floyd, thank you so much for being here with us. When we come back from the commercial break, the next commissioner for District 9, Ed Ford Jr. He'll be up next right after these commercial messages.
In this day and time of
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, man.
Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Come on by.
I need to get me a badge. Get me a siren on my car.
Look, just get you a room tomorrow night. Just stay with us. Just stay on that.
But I feel good. Hey, I feel good about you, man.
You know, anything can happen with election, but you know, when you look at it and see Democrats have outvoted Republicans, 19,000 already, and you kind of expect that trend. Even if we hold serve tomorrow, this 50-50 tomorrow, you gotta believe, we got a big lead.
Yeah, yeah. I think you won in the early voting, and when you can win in early voting, that's it.
Yeah, we were trying to tell off the early voting. We felt like that was where the win would come from. So we worked hard in those Republican polling areas to try to flip something. And I
security guard. Do you own or work at a church or daycare? Then you need to learn these life-saving techniques. This course is only $60 and payment for years of age on up.
But he didn't have to stop his deal.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't a lot he had to tell you.
Yeah, that wasn't a lie. He had to tell you.
Or go by 2564.
How many you wanna run with?
It's now sleeping disease. Furniture by they don't have what traditional mattress and furniture stores call sales because
Yeah, that's wrong.
prices are always 50 to 80% off. Retail stores.
Yeah, well, I still run.
They have A-plus ratings.
Yeah, bring me back after that.
With a perfect five-star Better Business Bureau customer review rating with nearly 400 positive reviews, more than any other mid-south mattress or furniture company.
What's up, Junior?
Disease carries the top name brand in mattresses with the Serta iComfort and the Simmons Beauty Rest Black. You also can
How many polls you got?
pillow at Sleepy Z's with their Pillow Station Pillow kiosk. Sleepy Z's now
Beverly's
has
gonna be
a
with you.
showroom full of furniture from signature design by Ashley and Beechcraft. And according to its kiosk, full of furniture for you to browse through too. Winner of the commercial years, Memphis Most Best Mattress Store in 2015, 2016,
Oh,
and
okay.
2017. Rich and me, that is Matthews when you go in and get an additional 10% off anything in the store, including mattresses, furniture, and pillows. Sleepy Z's is located at 2790 Curry Witten Road at the corner of Summer Avenue next to Hollywood Feed. You can also call the store directly at 901-690 to 6200. So you want to sleep like the king or sleep with the king. Sleep is Easy by Michael Zellman is the place to go. Allison Brunson is a woman who believes in community service, having served in the healthcare industry for over 30 years. Member of the Davis YMCA's board of directors since 2015. Volunteers for the Saving Allison Elementary campaign. She was a delegate to the National Democratic Convention in 2016. Member of the Shelby County Democratic Party Executive and Steering Committee from 2009 to 2017. Member of the Democratic Women of Shelby County since 2014, and her list of her commitment to the Democratic Party goes on. Now, she wants you to elect her as the Democratic State Executive Committee woman for District 29, a position that has no pay but just the reward of service to the Democratic Party. Allison says her political goal is to unite all Democrats and develop stronger, more effective leadership at the state level. So on August 2nd, vote Allison Brownlee, Democratic State Executive Committee 1, District 29. Early voting starts July 13th through the 20th.
Hey, Les, when we first come back up, before I start interviewing Ed, when we first come back up, after this, put the church website up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Coming up.
before I start interviewing Ed.
You want it up while you interviewing it?
No, I mean, when I come back, I'm gonna talk about my men's program.
Okay. Oh, I got you.
Okay.
There's a killing content happening right here in our state every day. There's dilapidated buildings. There's torn up this and torn up that. If you will elect me, give me your vote, I guarantee I will address.
Why y'all bothering my page with the KKK? Quit discussing that shit. Do I'm gonna take everybody I see discussing that bullshit off the page. Nobody give a damn about the Klan.
You deserve better representation than what you personally have. You deserve more than someone who wants only to be a showboat. You deserve more than a representative.
40 seconds.
Singing at a concert in Mississippi. You deserve a man that is going to bring economic empowerment back to your community. You deserve a man of
30 seconds.
a man who gives the word and stands on it. A man who in 2006, the Shelby County Commission, because of his integrity, chose
20
to
seconds.
represent you in Nashville as the then representative was leaving office. So on August 2nd, vote for a strong man
10 seconds.
who wants to make District 93 stronger. Vote Eddie Neal.
You got 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Y'all know Ed Ford Jr. Let me take care of a little business. I've been knowing the boy since he was a lad of a child. His father and I have been friends for over 40 years. Me and Ed was talking about how old we were today. Ladies and gentlemen, and you politicians, y'all talk out there in the hall because y'all distracting me. Thank you. What? One of the things that Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries is about, it's about service. It ain't about that hooping and hollering, running and jumping, throwing the big handkerchief, yabba dabba doing. It's about service. As I stated to you earlier today, we are adopting as a ministry the Craigmont High School. And again, I met with Dr. Tisha Durham today. And we want to be a part of the great things that they have going on at Craigmont. We want to be a part of mentoring there. We have a very successful girls mentoring program which will take place at Naked Truth on this Saturday, as it does the first and third Saturday of every month from 10 on to 12. And you need to have your daughters there. You do not have to be a member there. You ain't got to be black. You can be white, blue, or green. It's all about mentoring our young people, our young ladies. And that's the same thing that we want to do at Craigmont. We want to be a part of what is going on to save the lives of our children. So we are officially adopting, I'm gonna be the daddy of Craigmont High School. We want to work with them, and one of the things I was glad to hear is they have cosmetology and auto mechanics returning this year, auto mechanics returning this year. You have an opportunity. If your child has not enrolled in another school, it's called choice something. What's it called?
It's general choice.
General choice. You can enroll your child in Craigmont High School, located at 3333 Covington Pike. You'll be hearing me talk a lot about Craigmont because we are adopting them and we want to be a part of whatever is going on at that particular school. As I just take folk off the Instagram, some of you ignorant ass folk, y'all all know by now, not to play with me. The other things that we are interested in is also the fact of manhood. So we have decided we're taking the 5-bedroom house that we have on the property and we're turning it into a training system for men where they can also live. It's not project living, it ain't no Section 8 because we ain't taking no government money. It is not the halfway house, it is not a transitional house. But we're going to provide independent living for men over the age of 40, 8 men at a time, up to a year. Is it free? No. We're going to do a percentage of their income. But what does that happen? What happens in that? We're going to feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a daily basis, weekly housekeeping, on-site maintenance personnel, laundry, availability of professional service staff 24 hours per day, availability of trained CPR staff 24 hours a day, basic cable, personalized care plans, 24-hour emergency call response, daily up and about checks, nutritious snacks available throughout the day, transportation. They're gonna have a main dining room area. It's gonna be no drugs, no alcohol, but we're gonna have and provide social activities, mailbox, complimentary Wi-Fi, controlled heat and air. But then the training classes will consist of budgeting, employment readiness, stress management, dress for the occasion, finding your niche, entrepreneurship, credit repair, counseling options, health care options, resource centers, exercise, and community preparedness. This program is not only going to benefit Naked Truth, but it's going to benefit men in our community. We're going to be looking for men. You can't be a drug kid. I'm going to run a criminal background check on everybody. Plus, we're going to hire 3 full-time persons. This is what ministry is all about. I asked you on Monday night to help me help these men. I want to thank Mike Zellner with Sleepy Z's. We will have our 8 twin beds and mattresses next week. I'm planning on opening up the facility on September the 1st. But 8 twin beds is we're going to receive those from Mike Zellner, Sleepy Z's mattresses. We still need a living room set, refrigerator, stove, washer, dryer, table and chairs, mops, buckets, bathroom sets, dishes, curtains, dish towels, futons, desk set, twin bedding, the streets and stuff, pots and pans, chest of drawers, vacuum cleaner, TV set, file cabinet. I asked you the other night, I needed 100 people to give me $25 as a minimum. Because a lot of this stuff, I understand, we're gonna have to go out and buy. I'm not taking any government money whatsoever. We're going to do this as a ministry of people. And I thank all of you who gave, even the very large donation that a gentleman gave last night, said, Pastor, you need to put this in your pocket. But sir, what I did, I took that donation and put it right into what we're doing. I want to thank Rachel Alexander, Shelby Tucker, Kelsey Zuber, Santino Williams, Kedra Blaylock, Honeywell Tax Service, Tabitha Howard, Edmund Ford Jr., Joyce Hall, John Akins, Clay Lamar, Andra Jones, Kelia Lewis, Sandra Lindsay, Darrell Stewart, Linda Spraggins, Leroy Moore, Lavelle McCrae, James Green, Tiara Jones, Dorothy McBride, OMG Trust and Capital, Denise Rose, Barbara Dandridge, Greek House, Nelia Trucking, Stephen Jenkins, Katrina Fields, V. Stetter, Sanjay Gorman, Jacqueline Marshall, Michael Farmer, Samelva Lewis, Santisha Williams, Rational Recovery, Donna Floyd, Cocktails DC, Mary Gray, thank you, Adrian Sims, Richard Carpenter, Trevecca Shaw, and Sleepy Z's. I need about 60 more people at $25 minimum. Some of these people gave $100. This is for men. Now you know the Pope Pastor don't even get a biscuit on Sunday. I get my ginger ale and that's it. I need your help. We're trying to save the lives of men. We're gonna be looking for men who are veterans, men who are on dialysis, men just trying to get their life back, and you get one of them checks every month, okay? You get a check every month, but you haven't been trained in certain areas. You don't really have a place to stay. And there will be discipline, there will be rules, there will be security. I'll be able to see you in the house 24 hours a day. We are trying to be what ministry is all about. I need you tonight. I need 60 more people, at least a minimum of $25. And I like, while Ed Ford is on, I like to at least get 10 folk tonight. You've been giving all week long. I'm not going to the government to do for my people. We must learn to do for our people ourselves, molding, financing our own projects ourselves. I need you to go to the church website, NakedTruthLEM.com. Go to where it talks about giving. When you get there, you got PayPal, you got Giveify, and you got the Cash App. Will you help us help men in this community? Because one of the things that I'm going to do with Craig Month is to bring in young boys. I'm trying to get men involved. I talked to Thurston Smith today at the little Democratic thing that they were having down in Whitehaven about helping me find men that want to get involved with trying to save our young men. We're going to be working with the young girls. We already have a program. We're also incorporating a women's program with that. So we're on the way with the mission of that. But I need your help. I need you right now. In fact, you just leave it up there. Ed Ford, we know Ed Ford Jr.'s name. What's that? That's your folk? Yeah. That's your mom, man? Yes, it is. Okay. Miss Myrna Ford, she gonna donate also. Because they ain't got nothing else at the funeral home we need at the house. But of E.H. Ford Mortuary Services. I need your help. I need your support. NakedTruthLEM.com. let me see them $25, because I see them as they pop up on my phone. All you gotta do is go to the church site and make it happen. Make it happen right now. Look, Ed Ford Jr. I've known Ed since he was a lad of a child. Grew up as a Ford. He more like his daddy than any of his brothers. Yeah, oh God, he just don't cuss like Ed Senior. I don't guess.
Just depends.
It
Just depends.
But I've never heard you cuss. Okay. He's also an educator, Central High School, mathematics.
15th year to start Monday.
Okay, and I need you to talk into that.
Okay.
Ed, you spent 8 years
Mm-hmm.
on the city council. And I always stated, one of the things that I admired about Ed Ford Jr. was when Ed Ford Sr. was leaving the city council. One of the things that I saw, you came in for literally, what, 2 years? 3 years. He was living in Nashville, going to school in Nashville, but every committee meeting, every council session, Ed Jr. would come in from Nashville and he would attend the meetings all day long. He learned the process. He knew the process when he was elected. You don't see many politicians going to school, and that's what he did. He went to school on the council. You've been there 8 years. What's some of your accomplishments that you made on the city council?
Well, actually, it's been 11 years, Thaddeus, so it's been a lot of things. Let's talk about some things that I've done that I know that you've talked about. And being on the city council, I'm glad that we have a city council that can actually work together. We've had previous councils that have dealt with divisive, unsupported rhetoric to where we didn't get a lot of things done in my eyes. But this new council that came in, that got elected in 2015 and got sworn in 2016 has done remarkable work. Just to talk about a couple of things. You mentioned the cash saver on your show yesterday. Well, the good news is that we do have a grocery store in South Memphis opening up in a couple of weeks. In fact, there will be a soft opening and the big opening, unless it changes, I'll let you know the dates. But right now, we're looking at August the 15th. There's going to be a one-day sale at cash sale.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Kroger's closed down in several areas, closed several stores,
Correct.
including the one that's right there in the heart of what we used to call food country.
Okay.
Right there in Belts, 3rd and Belts.
Correct.
How did you, because everybody was complaining, that was voting about, oh, woe is me. How are we going to get a grocery store into this particular area? How did you make all of that happen, Drew?
Well, first of all, I got the phone call from Kroger, and I thought it was going to be some good news. They said, we got some news we need to tell you. So I'm thinking that with the conversations that I had with the owner, we were going to get a brand new Kroger, just like the ones you see on Union Avenue and the ones you see out east, where you saw just about every Kroger get a big facelift. I didn't get that news. I got the news, we're closing in 30 days.
Okay.
And that same news was given to the Kroger grocery store off of Lamar Airways as well. So the councilman did not get any heads up, and the owner did not get any heads up either. So I had to let people know, hey, we have to do something, because in many of the cities, when you lose a grocery store, you don't get it back. Or it takes years for that grocery store to come back. So we had several meetings. We showed that we were going to be a united front. I'm not just talking about council members, I'm talking about commissioners as well as community. Whether it's the Riverview, Kansas community or the 35th Ward community, those communities said we have to do something. So we had several grocers that were interested in getting, in being that replacement. And I appreciate Mr. Bales and what he did as far as making sure that the fixtures, the furniture, the equipment were preserved so that whoever came in wouldn't have to start from scratch.
Okay.
So that started, I'm talking about as far as looking for a new grocery store in late January, early February. The grocery store actually closed at the beginning of February. So we had to work very quickly because people in that area, whether they were walking to the store or whether they were riding the bus to the store or whether they were getting a ride to the store, I didn't want anybody riding, driving, walking 10 plus miles just to feed their family. I mean, that's just ridiculous. We had a map on where the closest Krogers were. I think the third closest Kroger, you had to cross the bridge to Arkansas.
Okay.
We don't need that to happen. So
Okay.
we had a conversation. In fact, the good news was that there was a 15-year pilot that was given where $6.8 million is going into the Southgate Shopping Center as well as the cash saver. The gentleman's name is Rick James, who's the, that's his name. He doesn't look anything like the Rick James from the 1980s. But he's a good man, and he wanted to come into the neighborhood. Now, I want to say that real quick one more time. He wanted to come into the neighborhood. Now, that neighborhood had 56 years of loyalty to the Kroger, and that was articulated by so many people who lived, worked, and played in that neighborhood.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you had the talking points of, well, we're not making any money, people were stealing. I didn't want to hear any of that because, you know, people steal in Collierville also. In fact, a few weeks after that came out, there was a theft at the Kroger in Collierville.
Okay.
And I don't see them closing that one up.
Okay.
So Cash Saver came in, they said they would love to come in and be the grocery store for the community. We got a $6.8 million pilot, 92 jobs. Now, the jobs are about $11 to $12 an hour, but you know I'm a big proponent of $15 an hour, which we can talk about a little bit later. But I could not let my community be in a situation to where a food desert would have been their future.
So you worked and you brought that into the district. Let's also talk about, because I got one more politician left tonight.
Okay.
The $15 per hour for city employees. I was amazed, Junior, that there were city of Memphis employees that were making less than $15 an hour.
Correct.
How did you get the $15.50, as you made sure I knew? How did you get the $15.50 done?
Let me say this, we have the Fight for 15 that's still going on nationally.
Okay.
And I do appreciate the work that they do. I know that some small businesses aren't able to get to that 15 yet, but let's strive to get to that 15. City government was able to do that. I looked at how much it cost, I looked at how many people it would affect, and I just didn't want it going to full-time employees. I also wanted to make sure that we could work on getting part-time employees there as well. So you're talking about over 400 families. Many of those people, that is, a lot of people may not ever meet in their lifetime or even have a conversation with them. And I'm talking about people that are PSTs. So if there's an accident, I mean, those individuals are the next police officers.
So
and we're going to pay them $13 an hour.
Okay.
So there was back and forth talk. I mean, there was one person that said, well, they make, if you include their uniform and if you include that, you can't put a boot and a shirt and a tie in the bank and get money for it. So it was important to me to make sure that those individuals who were not making the $15 an hour, we can do a little bit better. We're Memphis, making $15.50 an hour. So anybody that's watching, they may say, well, that's just 50 cents. That 50 cents is an extra $1,000 a year for that family.
Okay.
Where they can either save it or spend it however they need to.
So you're going to the county commission. What is your goal as you go to the county commission? What is the goal of Ed Ford Jr. as a commission member, which is versus doing the very same thing that you did as a city councilman? What is your goal?
Well, I love to see 1550 be a reality over there. I've talked to several people. There are some individuals that I actually taught at Strayer that work on there on the county side. They're only making about $13, $14 an hour. I'd love to see $15.50 an hour be a reality over there, because if we're going to talk about alleviating poverty, we have to make sure that people have a livable wage. You can't live off of $7.25 an hour, period. That's
so you got people in the county
$14,000
that's
a year.
working for $7?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
a livable wage is what we need to look at if we're going to tackle poverty.
Okay.
And let's talk about something else where I'm gonna need help with the city council as well as the county commission, because both legislative bodies do have to work together.
Mhm.
2 days ago, the city council was able to help individuals, get restoration on the driver's licenses. We put up about $600,000 for MLK 50, and I wanna say about half of that money went to, helping people who had court costs and fines, make sure that they get their driver's licenses reinstated, restored, whether it's diversion or whatnot. If we're going to look at getting people who have the desire and will to work, and the last time I was on your show, we talked about this a little bit, but if we're gonna talk about those who have the desire and will to work, putting them into the workforce, there are 3 elements that they have to have: transportation, skill set, and either an unblemished.
They want you to step back a little bit so they can
Want me to
see.
step back?
Yes.
Oh, the people
All
can
right,
see.
yeah, they
Okay.
can't see you on the social media,
All right, this one.
even though they can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, the 3 things: transportation, skill set, and a forgivable record if it's not blemished. And when you have 2 out of 3, it's hard to get that job. You can have the
Okay.
transportation and the skill set, but if you got that record, there's a problem.
Let me ask you this, because I gotta rush.
No
I got
problem, no problem.
About 5
Yes.
minutes, and I gotta bring the other guests on.
Okay.
That commission seat,
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 of your uncles, Alan has had. Did John have that seat?
I think James and Joe did,
Okay, James and Joe, okay. Still 2, yeah.
because Joe ended up being the interim mayor.
Right. James Ford, Joe Ford
Mm-hmm.
had that seat,
Mm-hmm.
okay? There are those, what do you say to the critics that said that seat does not belong to the Ford family? What is your rebuttal to that?
Well, let me put it this way: I had 5 community meetings regarding the grocery store, the $15.50 an hour. Also, an item that I know we'll talk about after the election called
Sure.
instant runoff voting.
Sure.
And you got a small sector right after I win tomorrow that wants me to give up my city council seat so that instant runoff voting can be put into that race. But many of the people that I've talked to, the hundreds and hundreds of people I've talked to, have said in November, we want to repeal instant runoff voting because we do not want our vote moved around or thrown away, and we are fine with the leadership that we have. So for those critics, I would ask them, go ahead and fill out a petition, go ahead and get 25 signatures, and very importantly, have a platform that is not, I don't like Ed Ford. Because if that's the case, I had several people, and a couple of us were civil in the primary, but several people that ran in May, that's all they had was, I'm against Ed Ford, but don't ask me about a platform because I don't have one. We
Okay.
saw what their result was.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be presumptuous, but at the same time, just like I said before, if somebody has that platform, they want it more than I do, and trust me, I'm going to fight like I'm down by 20 at the end of the 4th quarter. If I lose, I will shake that person's hand and I will say congratulations. I will go to the funeral home the next day, but the people don't talk back, and I will be happy.
Okay, Ed Ford Jr., and I urge you, when we look at the Fords, we look at the history and the legacy of service. It is no secret that Ed Ford Sr. is going to run again for the city council seat that his son will be leaving, not September 1st, but at the end of the charter time, which is how long?
90 days.
90 days. He has 90 days from when he wins tomorrow to leave that seat, and he's going to stay there. His service has been effective on the city council. So Mulroy and Bonds and all you other folks that are after the seat and the instant runoff, and I'm going to deal with the instant runoff, which is going to destroy the black vote, could make the city council completely white. Blacks could not have any voice in local politics, but we'll deal with that in the oncoming months. My guest tonight, I've got another guest. I want you to go out and vote tomorrow. you know the history of the Ford family. You know what John Ford did. We go all the way back to the history of Harold Ford Sr. Constituent service has always been the motto of the Ford family. Say what you want about some of them, and I know all of them well, but when it came to service and representing the people, that's what you get. When you look at this young man who's a mathematician, who created some of the numbers for the budget that you have right now, crunch the numbers, who've given you the service in that area, why you gonna bring somebody up there that don't know we ain't got no airplanes in the city of, and they heard this tell me that Sheriff Ford, I was interviewing her when she said God told her she was gonna be the mayor. I said, Sheriff, well, what you think about the pilot program, which is payment in lieu of taxes? Thaddeus, I didn't know the city had no airplanes. I said, you don't get your dumb ass about my radio station, please. Look, but go tomorrow, vote Ed Ford Jr. Those of you that's making $15 an hour now.
50 cents an hour.
Please don't let me forget the 50 cents.
That's $1,000 a month. I mean, a year.
Oh,
That's $1,000
don't forget that 50 cent. Ed Ford Jr. got you that raise. Those of y'all that go shopping and you're crying about Kroger's, Ed Ford Jr. got y'all the grocery stuff. Y'all ain't got to beg and run and because they used to have the men that would pick you up at the grocery store. They don't have them no more. Ed Ford Jr., County Commission, District 9 on tomorrow. Thank you, Junior.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a commercial break, and then Latroy Williams is here. We'll close it up with him. I got about 20 minutes left in the show. Yeah, you take me now. All right. Come on, Latroy. Bring me your tithes and offerings. Hallelujah. Hey, glory. Well, I ain't never, you know what, in all my years of broadcasting, I ain't never ran this many guests in one night.
You rolling.
Man, what?
I ain't never, in all my years of broadcasting.
Yeah, I need a raise. What you coming back on? Come back
Who haven't we ran? Anybody we haven't ran? Let me see you, Latroy. Bring
There you
on.
go.
Huh?
He was talking about the video.
Is there any politician that we have not brought up? Cause you know, all of these political spots come out tonight.
Okay. Yeah,
Every last one of them. I hear y'all had some Klan members on here. Please don't, y'all don't give the Klan some relevance. Who are these new teeth? No, we don't worry with them. Huh?
all the political space.
Tell you what,
Tell me what you wanna do.
in fact, what you got? What's after this?
What we on?
Bring me back. In fact, you can come on back, Latroy, so I have time with him. After this, can you bring me back after this?
That's 5 seconds. No, I'm getting the next one. That's real slow.
Reflections.
Here, big on.
Have we did everybody tonight? All the politicians? Just give me something. I don't care what it is.
Say it again. What you want?
I don't care, just hit something. Something short, really. Bring me back, all right, bring me back after Justin.
That they know, and that name is Ford. That was John Ford, Joe Ford, and Ophelia Ford. Now, Shelby County Commissioner Justin Ford wants to continue that legacy of service by being elected as the state senator for District 29. Justin Ford is not just running off of his name, he's running on his record of service.
All right, social media, I'll be back to raising havoc on tomorrow night.
40
The
seconds.
political season will be over
Instituted a summer youth program as well.
for right now.
1C3 grant program where
But y'all gonna let the pastor get paid now, please.
of Shelby County
30 seconds.
13 districts. On August 2nd, vote for a name that you can not only pronounce, but recognize as a name that you can
20
use
seconds.
for service. Vote Justin Ford, State Senator, District 29. Early voting starts July
10 seconds.
through the 28th, paid for by the committee to elect
Huh?
Justin Ford, State.
You got 5, 4, 3, 2, you're back.
And don't forget to go and vote for Justin on tomorrow. That woman, let's run against them, got them folks that killing the babies, sending out hate mail and stuff. Y'all killing babies, and y'all wanna talk about Justin Ford. Y'all vote for Justin. Y'all baby killers. Ooh, the abortion people. All right, my last candidate of that, and I was just saying, in all my years of broadcasting, which is 36 years this year, I've never ran this many guests in one night. But y'all gonna let me cut this paper tonight, praise Jesus. Ain't God good? Yes, he would want me to do it. Look, we've got Latroy Williams. Latroy, people are saying, you're running against, what's his name? Get going, we're going. I wish he'd go his ass somewhere on out into the Mississippi River some damn where. Steve Cohen, your name is not even on the ballot, Latroy, okay? And I want to bring you back, and I really want to talk about maybe one night next week about why your name was not on the ballot and how the Democrats did everything that they could to keep your name off, and your name is off. So do you really think that you have a remote possibility of being able to pull off winning the congressional seat?
No.
Oh, well, Lisa said no. Now that wasn't what else I was expecting. I didn't expect her to say no. I didn't, but it's a reality.
It's a reality. At this point,
Okay.
what has happened is this. The judge ordered me on the ballot June the 1st, 2018.
Uh-huh.
The Republicans and Democrats did the same thing to me that they done to Albert Gore when Albert Gore ran against Bush.
Mm-hmm.
They prolonged the process until it got to a point where the judge himself said, what we gotta do, we gotta have a special election. So there's a possibility that we would be having another election between now and November, a special election between me, Mr. Cohen, and whoever else is left on the ballot. The judge has made that suggestion, and my lawyer have found a way where we can do this because this happened once before, and Mr. Michael Hooks and Miss can't think of the young lady's name, but she's with the city council, Wanda Halbert. Wanda Halbert, Michael Hooks, once upon a time had to run a special election because what had happened, somebody's name that was removed from the ballot. So they had to have this runoff. But what I want to say is this right here. Again, as Thaddeus said, and he asked the question, point blank, do I have a chance to win? There's a possibility. It's just no way. It's impossible because my name is not on the ballot. But if people want to vote for me, they can just write me in if they want to, and I think would be a good thing. But at the same time, this particular situation started by Mr. Cohen himself, and that's the reason I have these ballots here, because I want to kind of show the public actually what happened. He got very angry because of the fact that we were helping Ricky Wilkerson, and Ricky Wilkerson had a chance to win this congressional race back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And he called after looking at some of the commercials we were running on TV, he called the television station and said, Latroy Williams is running ads. It says the Democratic National Committee has endorsed Ricky Wilkerson. And that was a lie. Everything he said was a lie. Every time Cohen opened his mouth, it's a lie. But I have to tell my story. As my grandfather always said, that If the tiger don't get a chance to tell his story, that damn hunter will. And so, what I want to
Okay.
basically is tell my story. He not only filed an injunction against me to keep the television station from running their ads, and at that time I had about 13,000 off advertising left to help Ricky Wilkerson. Plus we had 193,000 ballots at the post office to be mailed out. He hurt a lot of the judges and other races. He caused them to lose because of the fact he filed a frivolous injunction. Later on, the whole premise of this lawsuit was about the fact that he was trying to keep me, as he said, as his attorney said to the judge, that if I was willing to say that we was not going to endorse Charlotte Bergman, that they would drop the lawsuit. But he didn't have a lawsuit, it was frivolous from the start. And the judge said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "You're a First Amendment lawyer. Why would you ask this man to drop or to not endorse someone? If I wasn't on the ballot, I'd have lost too." Now, this is what the judge said. Now, they continue on and ask the judge to recuse himself. The judge said, "After I dissolve this, I will recuse it." So what the judge did, he dissolved the process and went on and recused himself. They filed it to another court. So the judge asked him, "Well, what do you have?" They said, "Oh, Your Honor, we're going to bring in the National Democratic Party of the USA, and we're going to do this and do that." So my lawyer objected to the fact that you're going to bring in the National Democratic Party of the USA when Latroy Williams and their organization own the rights to the National Democratic Party of the USA. So he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "We're going to bring in the National Democratic Committee." So the lawsuit went on and on. Finally, the Justice Department, along with the Election Commission, wrote back and told the judge and said, "Look, Latroy Williams did everything right within the law. And even if he had done what Mr. Cohen said he done, he still would be right."
But let me ask you this, Latroy, and I'm gonna bring you back next week where we can take time and talk about the Democrats. When we look at Steve Cohen, he's been there now, what, 12 years?
Been in politics for 40 years.
I mean, but he's been the,
Congressman for the 9th Congressional District, 12 years.
12 years. When we look at what is going on with the local Democratic Party, that means that some of the people, some of the black Democrats, okay, had to work against you as well. Am I correct?
You're exactly right. And let me just say this. The Democratic Party may be illegitimate because the way it was set up.
Illegitimate, not just, yeah, illegitimate.
Right.
Y'all ain't got no mom and dad.
The organization was set up by Mancini because of the fact that Steve Cohen paid her to try to get the Shelby County Democratic Party to go against me where he would have standing, because he saw from the Justice Department and the Election Commission that he didn't have a lawsuit against me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did, he tried to get the Shelby County Democratic J Committee to join him. So he used Ms. Mancini to force them to join him, but they refused. Then he had Ms. Mancini to go to the Shelby County Democratic Women Organization and asked them to join him so he'll have a lawsuit against me. See, it was a setup all the time, and they refused. So then she said, "Well, I'm going to join you." But when she joined, like I said, the Election Commission wrote back and told them that Latroy Williams did everything right within the law under U.S. 52-301-01, U.S. 52-301-20, which I want to show you a little something here where you understand. You got a lot of ballots that being put out here. Steve Cohen filed a lawsuit against me saying that, well, I have a ballot that says the official Shelby County Democratic Club. He lied. This ballot doesn't say official. Look for yourself. Now, he was on the ballot, and he didn't say anything. But both of those ballots are chartered and they're licensed. As the Commercial Bureau reported back in 2016, that Latroy Williams has the only legitimate ballots in the state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to see this right here so you can read this to the public.
Which one you want me to read?
Right here.
Signs erected without permits. All defendants are in violation of Tennessee law, specifically the following, and are causing damage to the plaintiffs. So this is actually saying that,
Read this.
read this, no person shall print or cause to be printed or assist in the distribution or transportation of any facsimile of an official ballot, any unofficial sample ballot, writing pamphlet, paper, photograph, or other printed material which contains the endorsement of a particular candidate, group of candidates, or proposition by an organization, group, candidate, or other individual, whether existing or not, with the intent that the person receiving such printed material mistakenly believes that the endorsement of such candidate, candidates, or proposition was made by an organization, group, candidate, or entity other than the one or ones appearing on the printed material. But let's get to something, because this is going to have to be for another show.
Yes, sir.
You're on the ballot, or you're not on the ballot. So is this the end of it? We know that the general election for the state and federal offices are in November of this year. Thus, tomorrow, when you lose, and you already come to the realization in the way you can win tomorrow, when you lose on tomorrow, is there any recourse for M. Latroy Williams for the November election?
Yes. The judge had asked three things. Number one, he asked the Democratic Party to seat me, take the executive committee, and seat M. Latroy Williams as the nominee of the Democratic Party because of what happened. Number two, he said that what we could do is have a special election between Mr. Cohen, along with whoever else is in the race, along with myself, a special election, because there had to be some remedy. And number three, they can take us and put us on the ballot for the November election, which may be a conflict, but the other two are solid. As I said before, the possibility of having a special election is a good thing. We think we can win, and I think that's where it should be done.
But wouldn't that have to take place solely between you and Steve Cohen? If he's already the Democratic nominee, and the general election is in November, you couldn't have two Democrats on that ballot. It's got to be either a Democrat and a Republican. So what is the remedy between you and Steve Cohen, since the judge ordered that your name would be placed on the ballot, but your name was not placed on the ballot? What's the remedy?
Well, my lawyers filed a lawsuit today for $25 million for number one, and number two, he's asking the election commission, along with the parties, to set up a format that would allow me to compete against Mr. Cohen. He's already said that the Democratic Party, this is what the judge said, the Democratic Party must pay for this, must pay for it. They was trying to say that, look,
the local Democratic Party?
The Democratic Party of the state party.
Okay.
Was supposed to pay for it. He also went on to say that the Democratic Party, you see, is responsible for everything that happened because they did something that was wrong. First of all, as he said himself, he said, look, he said, I see M. Latroy Williams around helping the Democratic Party. So how can you say that he helped the Republican Party? They lied on that. Then they said that I had two lawsuits against Mr. Cohen that was pending. They lied on that. So they didn't have anything else. So what they went to, they said, here's the truth. That we feel that M. Latroy Williams has a chance to win. And Mr. Cohen and the Democratic Party have to spend a lot of money if M. Latroy Williams is in the race. So that's why we don't want him to run. And that was the excuse.
So what is going to happen? And I got 5 minutes, I got to wind up.
What's basically going to happen, like I said, we filed a lawsuit today asking for different situations to occur. We're going to amend that lawsuit to extend to the national party, and instead of 25 million, we're going to ask for 250 million. Because we feel that this thing has been causing the community and the people a disservice. And as I said before, and I say it again, a politician is just a politician. And a politician is a public servant, and his or her job is to serve the public and not their own selfish interests. These politicians have been serving their own interests. So if I'm elected, again, like I said before, I'll take the politics away from the politicians and bring the politicians back to the people as a public service the way it should be. I heard Mr. Ed Ford talk about this program, and he may have gotten this from me, because I initiated the Compact program, which will allow young men and women to go to school 4.5 hours a day and go to work 4.5 hours a day and earn $15.50. Now, that's where you could have got that from. Plus, at the same time, I also initiated a program to turn Mud Island into an international trade center, which would create 72,000 new jobs, paying from $30 to $200 an hour.
We're going to do this on another show.
Okay,
sure.
Yes, sir. Okay, no problem.
I got to wind down. Latroy's name is not on the ballot for the congressional seat on tomorrow. You can write his name in that particular position. But we will get back to this maybe next week or after his lawsuit has been filed, because I'd like for you and your attorney to come on and explain exactly what is going on. But I've got to shut down right now.
Can I take a minute just to?
No, Latroy.
All right, okay.
We'll do it next. You ain't gonna win tomorrow.
Right, but I just wanted to give a plug to what the Shelby County Democratic.
No, I ain't plugging them. They ain't gave me no money.
Oh, yeah, but you know, that's.
They ain't gave me no money.
Okay.
They gave me a quote.
Okay. All right.
Okay. They gave me no money. I ain't plugging nothing on my show. They ain't gave me no money. Let the church say amen. They don't do nothing for me. Okay, I got 2 minutes. Let me urge you all to do 2 things. First of all, go out and vote tomorrow.
Amen.
Okay? Polls open at 7 a.m. on tomorrow. They close at 7 p.m. No matter where you work, by federal law, you are allowed at least 3 hours to make sure that you get your vote in. Floyd Bonner, David Lenore, do not vote for that water-carrying Negro. What's his name? Thank you. Lee Harris. He is a water-carrying Negro, a Yassa boss Negro. Do not vote for that Yassa boss Negro. David Lenore for county mayor, Latroy Williams for Congress, Ed Ford Jr., District 9, Justin Ford, State Senate, District 29, Reginald Tate, District 33, Senate, Barbara Cooper, State Representative 86, Eddie Neal, State Representative 93, Antonio Parkinson, District 98, Yolanda Kite, Criminal Court, Circuit Court, excuse me. I must be predicting something, Yolanda. Circuit Court Judge 9, Allison Brownlee, the State Executive Committee, District 29, Price Harris for the Environmental Court, Division 14, and Shalandra Ford for the County Register. Those are the people. I just want to vote for somebody, put my name in there. Okay, put my name in there, just write my name in. Those of you, again, that support what we're trying to do as far as the men's program, we're asking for a minimum of $25. You can give more if you like. Go to it. We'll talk about it more tomorrow night. NakedTruthLEM.com. NakedTruthLEM.com. That's our church website. And what I gotta go. Church website. I thought you had both hands. I thought you was giving me 10 more minutes. I guess.
I'm gonna make a donation.
Huh?
I was gonna make a donation.
We're gonna make it. I'll take it.
Okay, I'm gonna make the donation in the name of John Deberry. Vote John Deberry. And also,
What's the?
I'll make $25. You actually $25.
Well, you're saying with one name now.
Okay,
You can't.
John Deberry. I'm gonna pay
John Deberry.
Right.
All right.
And the other one is I'm gonna make another $25 donation
Okay.
for this young lady who man has worked hard. Erica Sugarman.
Okay.
She's a great person.
Anybody else you wanna give her $25?
Yeah, I'm gonna give $25 to, Erica Pearson. She's running in the 9th Congressional District.
Okay.
In the state of Tennessee.
Give me one more $25 and see Dale over there, she collects the offerings. Give me one more name, make it $100. Anything man, no $75, that's an uneven number.
Rhonda M. Banks.
Rhonda M. Banks, now we got 4, do you wanna do 4 more?
Do we have the time?
Will you give me one more minute? Okay, give me 4 more names.
That is it.
See Dale over there with your offering, praise the Lord. All right, I gotta go, y'all, thank you so very much. Go out and vote on tomorrow, we'll be back. Those of you that watch me around the country, I'll be out of the local vein on tomorrow night. It'll be madness as usual. Thank you so much for being a
I got
part.
one more, that's it.
What's that?
Shalonda Ford.
Yeah, that's $125, Dale.
Yes, sir.
Praise Jesus. I gotta go now. Boy, we should start this 30 minutes ago. Oh yeah, we should start this a whole 30 minutes ago. All right, guys, I gotta go. And he done paid too, Jesus. All right, we out of here. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow night. Until tomorrow night, top of the evening to you. Yeah.
Yeah.